What is going on, everybody? How's it going? I am BirdDogJon. Alrighty, gonna cool it with the tunes here. And we're gonna switch over to our view here. Here we go. I just need to check and make sure my audio is good. I think we're all right. I'm gonna stand up today because gives us a sense of urgency, you know. I think the audio sounds okay. I'm not going to monitor that too much longer, but if you guys have any suggestions or if you need louder, softer, you need my voice to be less nasally, just let me know in the chat. I'd love to have you come hang out with us. Let me know you're here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today is a good day because today is P200 beta day, and that means that we are now testing our beta firmware for the brand new software or firmware that was supposed to be delivered, and we ran into some problems. So today is the day. It is in beta, which means that please, if you want it, you can have it, but know that it is beta, so don't put it on your production cameras yet. Just let's make sure that it's tight as a drum, and then we will giddy up with that. So pretty exciting stuff. What's going on, guys? Yay, happy beta day. What's going on, Pandorica? Voodoo Water TV, Bursky, how's it going? Hannah, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for jumping in and for another riveting day of NDI Chat here on BirdDog Live. Now I'll do my promotional for Canada Dry. We are not sponsored, but one day we hope to be. No, just kidding. I'm watching the preview. So good stuff. Very excited about today. I have the new baseboard and the new firmware running on my cam, my P100 right or P200 right now. There is also a P100 update, and so I'm going to do that. I think live today on this channel while we hang out together. So that'll be fun for you and hopefully fun for me. So good times and great oldies. Let me know what's going on your neck of the woods. I hope you're as excited about this firmware patch as I am. It is a full baseboard update and firmware update, so it is the full process again. Primarily because we figured out what was happening and why we were getting the data incorrectly, and so we've got that right, we believe. I am monitoring my P200 inside studio monitor, and so I'm going to keep an eye on that while we run the show today. I'm also going to set it to the errors that we had before. If you remember, we had a flip problem where we were, the camera was flipping out. No, just kidding. It was going from flipped, which cameras installed in churches and schools and whatever are typically inverted. And so there's an option on the AV menu under picture 1 to flip the picture so that it looks, well, let me just do this for you, I guess, so that it looks something like this. Pictures flipped. I did a factory reset on this just about 30 minutes ago. That's why mine was not set up that way. So I'm going to leave this up and running, which means that there's an extra 120 megs running around on my network while I do this stream. So that's exciting. But now you get to see me right side up and upside down. So bonus for you. I am fully aware that none of these things are exciting. I'm just trying to make the best of it because we're almost at the weekend. It's Tuesday or Thursday. It's Thursday? It's Thursday. We're almost at the weekend, and this firmware, I'm so stinking excited about this firmware finally being out and hopefully ready to go. So if you want it, please let me know. I can get you a link. We can provide it here. I will also provide it in Discord. So, hey, if you're not a part of our Discord over there, and that is starting to take off, boom, there it is. It's Tuesday. Yeah, whoops-a-daisy. I'll explain some of that and why I'm a little befuddled and also a little bit of energy again because of I'm drinking a Canada Dry ginger ale, which is not something I regularly do. So good times. Yeah, man, it's only Tuesday. Is it only Tuesday? It's only Tuesday, isn't it? It's Tuesday. Anyway, so it's not Thursday, it's Tuesday. So it's the beginning of the week, which means that my calendar was definitely off. And now I need to explain why I'm all mixed up. So, man, it's been a long week. Okay, so a couple of things going on. First of all, my apologies. I'm standing today primarily because I can't really sit for prolonged periods of time, and I just got out of a 3-hour training session with our new support guy who's starting up over in Europe. And so we've been doing that daily and trying to get him up to speed, and there's a lot to go over. And so I've been spending a lot of time inside my chair, and that's created some medical problems. And so I am standing in hopes that that problem will not get any worse. But that problem manifested yesterday during the workday, and so I didn't sleep very well last night. So I'm a little wired and a little confused, and hope you're going easy. Yeah, he is getting the full support training experience. I don't know if he's finding it super beneficial, but he's getting a lot of information. So once he starts getting gear, then he'll be able to test and see a lot of this stuff for himself. And a lot of it is just diving in and seeing how it works and whatever, and how to support it. So I have full confidence that he'll be up and running as soon as his gear shows up, and he'll be able to test some things out and see how it works out, and then really get into the nitty-gritty of our support challenges. So happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm going to keep saying it now so I remember. Wowzers. Which was funny because when I went downstairs, I thought on the Twitch channel, if you notice here on the countdown, all right, on the countdown, it shows that it's Thursday, which is incorrect. So that, I think I saw that, went downstairs, and my brain was like, man, it's almost the weekend. And I got into weekend mode, and that's not what's going on, apparently. It is, according to my watch, still Tuesday. Beginning of the week, so I'm excited about a good week here. Hopefully it gives me some more opportunities to get some work done. But anyways, I didn't sleep last night and was hopped up on a lot of Tylenol, so to deal with some of the back problems I'm having. All that to say, we just got out of a 3-hour training session with our new guy over in Europe, who is going to be able to respond during European hours. This is exciting news for BirdDog Phil, who is here in the chat here today, or at least was. I think he's still here. And he is the pre-sales guy over in Europe and does a lot of work with installers and distributors and company relations, we'll say, and making sure that the BirdDog message is being portrayed in Europe the same way that's being portrayed in North America and in Australia and all that sort of good stuff. So he is one of our main guys over there, and he's finally getting a support person to help with some of that stuff. So we're really excited. It makes a lot more sense that it's Tuesday, actually, because I was wondering why it took so long for the beta firmware to come out for the P200. I was like, wow, we really let this week go by. It's Tuesday, and so it actually was released, the beta version was released on the day we said it would, so that's exciting. Like I said, the P200, which is the camera that I have here on my desk, and that you can't see anymore, has had a major update about a week and a half ago. And there were some major issues that we didn't catch until we rolled it out. And primarily because we didn't just configure it in every single possible configuration before we made it public. And that bit us in the end, and we learned a valuable lesson. So what happens now is the firmware is available in beta. This is basically final iteration from what we believe. But we've seeded out to our beta group. So if you want to be a part of the early adopters, there are some things that you need to pay attention to, but you are welcome to be a part of that group. That group is on Facebook. It's called BirdDog Beta Testers. BirdDog Beta Testers. You can search for that and request to become a member of that group. There's an administration process. There's some questions that you have to answer because we just don't want a bunch of spam or other people in it. So our admins actually approve each of those people coming into the group. But this is where, when we release new... thanks, Nightbot. When we release new firmware, it will be announced and then go into beta. And so the beta group will get it. They will give us some constructive criticism on what's going on and how they like it, and then beyond there, we'll release it to the public shortly thereafter. So if you're in a production environment, you obviously don't want to use beta firmware on your production machines, and so you won't use it until it becomes official, which just means you have to wait. It's just patience, which some people have and some people don't. So you get to make that choice as a BirdDog user. Now, you can join that beta group if you want, and that was kind of hush-hush for a while, but now our method is, yes, you can sign up for that. We will have to approve you on the admin side, which the bosses do, And then a couple of things are true. The first is you will agree to give constructive feedback and not on the features that have been updated for the device. So this isn't a place where you go and tell us about features that it still doesn't do and that you wish it did. That's not what this place is for. You can email me at help@bird-dog.tv, and if that's a feature that I think that's actually attainable, we'll send it up to the dev team to put on the feature wish list. But some people do that in the user group. Sometimes that's seen, sometimes it gets missed. Ideally, you'd want to email somebody. So I would say you could email us at the help desk or submit that feature request at the help desk, and we can move it up the chain if it's something that we can like easily obtain. If it's like, I want you to invent a product to do this, that, and the other, and use NDI to do it, that's like, okay, I'll mention it, but don't hold your breath, because that sort of stuff is decided by the top tier of the company about which direction we go. And they have a roadmap for the next little while, so it's going to be pretty exciting, and I'm excited that you guys can be along for that ride. The other thing about that group is you will agree to not talk about. The second rule of Fight Club is you won't talk about Fight Club. Very much so the case where we don't necessarily want, if we see the beta, there's things going on, we need to correct some stuff, whatever. This isn't a license for you to go on and tell everybody what's happening, and the beta group is kind of designed for just managing the new features coming out, and it's kind of going to be a controlled group. You can go on social media and share all the news and all the problems and all that stuff, but if we catch you doing that, you'll be eliminated from the beta group. So there's a bit of a mutual agreement here that's going to happen about whether or not you can be a part of that group. You'll agree to some pretty simple terms and then abide by those terms, and you'll get the beta firmware when they come out. It is not suggested, though, to put beta firmware on a production machine. I'm just going to start saying that over and over and over, because that is now the stance of the company. Announcement for new product or new firmware goes into beta for a week, week and a half, 2 weeks, potentially longer if we find bugs, which we would have done if we had did this process for the current lesson we learned. And so potentially longer, but some people will have access to those features early, and then once it's released to the public, you will see it on the BirdDog website. I don't know if you've noticed, but the social media accounts are kind of like going every which way. Go onto the BirdDog user group and just scroll down the posts, and people are posting support tickets. They're posting pictures about their installations. Some of them are excited about BirdDog products, and they want to share that with people. They want to reach out specifically and hear from Dan or Eamon, and so they're tagging Dan and Eamon in posts, and I don't know if all those get checked or not. They use the messaging app inside Facebook to ask questions and whatever, and it's just kind of like a big, giant catch-all. That's the kind word for it. It's just basically everything gets like dumped onto that user group. And it's kind of losing its intentional purpose of, bringing a group of BirdDog users together to talk to other users about, current situation. What do you do? What do you use? That was kind of what it was originally built upon. And now it's kind of like a place for anything goes. And quite honestly, that is the reason, I'm going to shoot really straight with you, that sort of manifestation of user groups is why companies don't interact with clients on social media, where they stick to specific channels of, if you want to talk to us, you talk to us here or you call this phone number. That's how that works. They don't have collective groups where people that are monitored by the company to help with questions or whatever. And so it goes from, in the early days, being a place of like constructive, even criticisms, but constructive thoughts and processes that get portrayed back and forth to the company. And when you're smaller, you can kind of manage that. There are like, I forget how many thousands of users on that group right now. And it's just kind of like, if anybody has a problem, they seem to post it on there. Well, you'll notice that I do not post on that group very often. And I certainly don't answer questions very often, because the people that are requesting official support from BirdDog, who are using the channels that we have specified, the support desk, they get my attention. That's where I camp out, okay? So if you're tagging me on Facebook, or you're tagging Dan and Eamon or whatever, like, if we get around to it, like, that's kind of the mentality here. But really, if you want like official support, or you want to talk to somebody specifically, you know, email is probably still the best way to do it. Emailing the owners is not probably a great idea because they get hundreds of emails all the time. But you know, like if there are questions you have, feel free to open a ticket. And I know ticket is like a dirty word these days because people just see it going into the abyss, and I want to talk to you about that a little bit too. People just see it going into like the abyss and never getting resolved or never getting addressed, or more likely the solution is not necessarily what the end user was hoping it was going to be. And so they don't want to put in a ticket because they're, you know, they have a neutral or a negative experience with ticketing systems in the past. And I get that. I understand that. That's not new on me. We try and do the best we can with what we have, but there's a lot of moving parts, first of all. And if you really want to know about how the sausage is made, I can let you know. Anyway, so the Facebook group, I mean, it's a good place for us to gather and for us to see what you're doing, and gives us as employees exposure to clients that we don't normally get exposure to. In particular, like when people submit a help desk ticket, they usually have a problem, and legitimate. Like that's what it's for. It's for helping you through the problems. However, if that's all you do every day, all the time, and you're just looking at problems, that can get pretty rough after a while. Like it can really kind of take you down a bit. And so having a place where you can go and see users who are using bird dogs every day and their installations, and it's working great, and they, you know, are having a lot of success. You can watch their shows in some cases, jump on YouTube or whatever, and really see this stuff happening. That's a good place for that. However, I've also noticed that there's a lot of people that post things on Facebook that are legit help desk questions that are like, why doesn't it do this? Or I have no image on my, you know, on my network, and you know, are there any network guidelines, anything like that? You know, those questions don't necessarily need to go to everybody in the user group. They can just come to us and we can help you with that. But part of the conundrum is, how do you handle social media from a company standpoint? How do you handle that? And right now it's kind of like snowballing out of control, which is where most companies go and say, you know, we're done with this. I don't think that's the plan here, but I do believe that the way that they're going to structure social media in the future is going to be more specific to making sure that people get into the correct channels to get the help they need. You want to post pictures for everybody else to see, it's a good place to do it. There will be a little bit more structure introduced instead of just kind of like a catch-all forum. So it's either that, or the company pulls away and allows the users to regulate what's shown, and there's no more personal touch with BirdDog, which is not something I think they want to introduce. So I think right now the plan is to make it a little bit more structured so that we can continue to interact in a productive way. So that's one of the things that we've been thinking and talking about. That's something I've noticed on Facebook in particular, but I know that it's happening in Twitter, in Reddit, a bunch of social media platforms, and so just be careful. It's we don't want to burn a good thing, right? You don't want to make it just into a monster that nobody can wrangle, and eventually it's just like, well, we have to give up because we can't keep up with this. Certainly not a good place to try and open a ticket. As the support agent, as the one guy that's answering tickets right now, and that's changing quickly, I'll explain that in a second. As the guy that's answering the support tickets, to be quite honest with you, I don't have enough hours in the day to work through our open cases and also then go over to all of our social media channels and check if anybody's posted anything. So if you post it on Facebook, it's kind of a free-for-all. If I see it, I see it. If I don't, sorry. But if you really want help, send me a ticket, because I will eventually see it, even if I'm overloaded with work, or if I'm away for 2 or 3 days, or if, I don't know, and something happens. It's in a catalog system, so we can see that you submitted a ticket. You'll get a response with a ticket number, and we'll be able to help you officially, you know, through the BirdDog help stuff. So be sure that you do that if you have a legit question. Okay, that wasn't so fun to talk about, but we'll get it out there. You know, if you really object, let me know, but I think it's fairly reasonable as the company continues to grow. We're not getting any smaller. We're not doing less sales. We can't keep cameras on the shelves, which means that more and more and more people are buying them and getting involved in the community. And so, like when you have a hiccup, for example, in firmware, when you release a firmware, it affects a lot more people than it did 5 years ago, right? So we are learning, we are growing, we're trying to expand things so that we can handle the amount of growth. But we also need to kind of set a precedence as to, in our social media channels, we want to keep these windows open and these doors open, so that we can all communicate together and enjoy what it is that you guys are doing, and we can assist. But there are going to be some structured things as we grow, so that we can continue to do those things. We don't have to give up on Facebook and on not YouTube necessarily, but Facebook and Twitter and Reddit and Instagram and all those social media channels. Speaking of which, it keeps popping up here. If you haven't already done it, please join our Discord channel. I'm going to jump over there just in a second. The unofficial BirdDog Discord channel. Oh, there it is right there. And I'll jump online. Good to see anybody that's over here. Feel free to join us. That little link is in the chat window, so go ahead and click that and we can help you. This is actually adminned by a user. It's adminned by Beep Chirp, who hangs out here with us and is our all-time gift sub guy. He is just super generous, I guess, and so he's gifted like 42 people free subscriptions to this channel, so that's pretty fun. I don't know what that means necessarily, but it was awfully generous of him, so I put his name on the actual screen, and he put this together in terms of the actual unofficial, unsupported BirdDog channel Discord, and there's a couple of chats in there that you guys can jump in and talk through it. Looks like Phil joined here today, so BirdDog Phil is now officially there. But it's really just for users to chat. And so if we continue the conversation, or if you want to continue the conversation after we're done here with the BirdDog Live stuff, because I do actually go back to the help desk and then start working through tickets right after the show. So if you want to do that, we can continue the chat in the Discord channel, and people can jump in and help, in that regard. So that's a good place to be. I think we'll see what it kind of becomes. It's one of those social media channels, but hopefully it'll be a place where you can get assistance from other active users who can chime in and give you a hand with things. So come hang out. That'll be good. All right. So like I mentioned, we are hiring a guy. We hired somebody. He is now working for us in Europe. His name is Tim, and I've been working with him in the mornings each week for the past week and a half now, because it's only Tuesday. So a week and a half, and gosh, I can't believe I did that. And catching him up to speed on, current place and products and that sort of thing. He's got some really cool experience in other major corporations and companies when it comes to like customer experience and that sort of thing. So he's going to be a really critical second set of eyes when we are discussing how to approach, product releases and integration, and what are good ways of explaining highly technical things to clients and that sort of thing. Because right now it's been mostly me. I don't know if you've noticed, but most of our YouTube training videos are me standing here in this platform, by the way. It's usually just, I scroll down and go to tutorial, which is right here. The music stops. Music is supposed to stop. Okay, music doesn't stop. Anyway, I use this screen and we talk through, what's going on with stuff. And then I put these on YouTube, and that's the tutorial. And I can actually do the tutorial stuff, and I can share my desktop screen for these sorts of tutorials, so I can, show you web UIs and do whatever. Well, you've probably noticed that all of our training videos are me doing that. So I don't mind. I actually quite enjoy doing that sort of stuff and getting that information out, so people don't have to constantly send me the same ticket over and over and over. They can just watch a little video and see what's going on. If you have questions about that, please send them to me or mention them here in the chat or on Discord. Say, John, it would be great if there was a video on explaining how to do this, or what this is, or what feature this is. The company itself is planning on doing little featurettes that will explain features in products, and so that's coming. That's going to be, actually hired somebody in Australia who's going to be a content creator, and he's going to help us get that information recorded, produced, up on the website officially, so that people can have those resources. So that's not going to be so informal like this is with the training stuff. But the technical things, like if you want to learn how to do certain things, That I could probably do and pretty quickly. Could post it on Facebook and link it into the knowledge database and then send you that link. So those take me anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to do, depending on how complex the topic is. But if it's beneficial and it benefits more than one person, then it's worth my time because then I'm not repeating myself more than once. So cool stuff. If you have suggestions, I'm open to that. Don't hesitate to tell me that, hey, this was really confusing. Can you simplify this by just showing us how to do it? I'd be happy to. That would be helpful for you and for me. So let me know. That would be good stuff. I did one yesterday, Monday, on how to downgrade to the no-sync version of the firmware to get your camera, your P200 in particular, working with the no-sync version. And so it's an actual walkthrough on how to do that. And I should probably do one for the beta update and just to get it prepped for the actual update that's coming out later on this week once this beta is approved. So I will probably put something together today, try and do that fairly quickly. It's literally just an update process. So that is what I will call it, how to update your P200. And it will be a baseboard update, and then it will be the firmware update, and we'll be done with that. So I'll put that one together just so that there's less confusion. If people are asking how to do it, they can officially see me do it on screen and follow along. I try and do them in real time so that there's no like if it's a format thing that takes 20 minutes, like I kind of want to show. I want to show what you should be expected to see. I don't necessarily, you could scrub the video, but I kind of want to show what it is exactly that we're expecting so that this process is 6 minutes or this process is 15 minutes or whatever. I just find that helpful that we do it in real time so that we can talk about some things, talk about changes, whatever. I can give you the full rundown. You watch the video once and you know how to do it. Alrighty then. So, Tim is on board in Europe, and he's drinking from the fire hose, as I like to say, in terms of the amount of data that I'm throwing at him every day. We're running at least 2 hours a session, maybe longer, and right up against Twitch most Tuesday, Thursday. So that's a real thing. Whoops. Okay, that's done. Cool. So I have this show going on, and we're going to go till 12:10 because I started 10 minutes late. But we're going to go a little bit later today. So let me know if you've got questions or anything like that I can give you a hand getting through. There is a beta for P200 and there is a beta for P100. So if you are looking to get to the latest firmware, understand that it is in beta. But right now I'm watching it on my studio monitor and it is functioning correctly. It has been at least 30 minutes. So far so good. I'm going to leave it up for the day and see what happens. Alrighty. Wow. That was like 40 minutes of talking, or 30 minutes of just straight up me talking and being confused about what day it was in the week. Sorry about that, folks. It's been a long 48 hours. All right. Here's the other thing. In regards to current state of support, a lot of you guys have tickets in, and that is a thing. Not gonna put that over here. A lot of you guys have tickets in. Every day we've got a handful of, what is that? Get that here. We have a handful of new tickets every morning, basically, my morning. And so there's a group of people that are submitting tickets, and then there's existing tickets that are still open and waiting for resolution. With training underway, and with me working through the tickets that are opened in the mornings, and then getting to resolutions and RMAs and returns and repairs, and like I mentioned last week, we're trying to buy an office space or trying to rent an office space. So I'm planning and designing that. There are several conversations about implementation and network problems, deeper network things that people need to understand in order to really get into the NDI game. So I'm trying to figure out a way to skin that cat. That I've had to clean up my office because it was getting to be a bit of a dump, as you probably recall. So there's just been a lot to do. And the tickets is one of my primary functions. But when I focus on other things, they don't get closed as fast as I wish they did. So the reason why we're investing so much time in training is because these guys that are coming on, Tim, and then a couple of guys here in the US, they will be primarily focused on closing tickets, resolving cases for clients, testing things out, making sure that everything's working as expected. So we got a lot of moving parts, and things are slowing down in terms of response times in the help desk, but that's in an effort to ramp it up and really catch up. So right now, and since July, I have been the primary product support expert that's been in the help desk working on tickets. I handle probably like 95% of the tickets that come into the help desk. That percentage is pretty big, by the way, for a global company. So we do a lot. I try and get to everybody. I can't get to everybody, but I try to on a daily. I try to get all the new tickets at least responded to, and then get to the, grind down on some of the tickets that are still open and existing. But in an effort to get guys on board who can also assist with this and eventually take the lead on these sorts of tickets, that actually takes precedence over the current state of the ticketing system. And so I'm training in the mornings, my mornings, so that I can get them up to speed, and so that we can get guys on board who can eventually help us respond faster, more efficiently, uniformly across the world. So there's lots to do there. Does it fix, what's going on, Minnie? Does it fix the vMix Zoom issue? The vMix Zoom issue. I don't know. Let's find out. My vMix doesn't work right, but I think it'll do the Zoom problem, as I recall. Okay, so if I have to, I'll use vMix. Add input. These were virtual inputs, right? Is this the virtual input we were talking about on Thursday? Is that what you want me to test, or just straight up the BirdDog itself? Ugh, stupid thing. Yes. Oh, I asked to clarify. So, is it virtual inputs or just the device itself? Sorry, if you could just let me know which one. Or both, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's what you meant. Create a virtual input. Virtual input. All right, let's open. Thanks. Oh, that's annoying. What do I prefer? I mean, it depends on functionality, right? Like, I don't need all the bells and whistles of vMix, so I use OBS or Streamlabs or something like that. That's just doesn't cost me anything. vMix has some niceties, but again, I don't need that. Create virtual input. Right, here we go. Sony Visca 192.168. Oh, yikes. If you're just joining us, I put my back out yesterday, and so that is painful. All right, I got my virtual inputs now. Here we go. Oh, come on. vMix is nice to more advanced situations when you need more video outputs, more audio buses, send audio to different locations, vMix calls, and so on. Yeah, I guess. This keeps... These virtual inputs aren't working. Screwing with stuff here. Close. Come on, vMix. Jeez. Gosh, I hate this program. That's just my personal preference. Because it doesn't work with my dual GPUs. It would probably be great if it did, but it just doesn't. And I'm not about to take a GPU out. I didn't pay extra so I could not use a GPU on my vMix machine. That's absolutely ridiculous. But the website says we don't actually do Sony Visca. We don't actually do dual GPUs. And there's several forums that say it doesn't work, so I can confirm that that's probably the error. Which is, to be honest with you, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Something that's so heavily reliant on video processing, and you don't do... Okay, I got my 3. There we go. Huh. One 192, 168, 1.13. I hate that I have to keep re-entering that. Connect. All right. We're gonna have to have the guys confirm this on their side. It doesn't look like it. Just from my initial testing, it doesn't do any zoom at all. Boom. All right. Yeah, again, look, I'm sure vMix is fine. It's not something that I've worked with very much. I find it extremely odd that it doesn't do dual GPUs, especially for a program that is graphically driven. Like, you think it would leverage dual GPUs, especially in SLI, which is like the single card. They're linked together with a ribbon. They talk the same language. It runs 4 screens, for crying out loud. It does VR and like unbelievable. But you're telling me vMix can't use it? It's like, come on, guys, that's a chump. So yeah, I have sent that off to the Mini. I've sent that observation off to the firmware team, so they will see that when they wake up. Everything seems a bit appreciated. Everything needs restart of vMix. Yeah, that's Windows for you. But it works well mostly when you do know what to do, and for the features, it's kind of a good price. Yeah, I don't even know what they charge for this thing anymore. vMix. I've met the developers. They're nice guys. In a production scenario, I've had it quit on me twice, and then I bought a second GPU and fired it up, and it like has never worked. It like flashes and carries on. You can still fire virtual inputs and whatever, but aesthetically, it's just terrible. So in dual GPU mode. So I just thanks. So I just kind of was like, meh, not for me. And people say that all the time. All right, the Pro version is $1,200. The basic HD version is $60. It'll do 4 inputs, 3 camera NDI inputs. The next version, which is $350, does 1,000 inputs and 1,000 cameras. Okay, Phoenix, that's... Why not just say, we don't know what the limit is? Have they tested 1,000 cameras? We have the 4K, so that's $700. You get 2 recorders, whatever that is. Streaming, including all 3 simultaneous live streams. Full screen output, external output. All right, I'm gonna sit because my back is going down. Phew. Oh, I think maybe that Tylenol is wearing off. Good thing there's 20 minutes left in the show. All right, here we go. So 4K version is vMix collar. You get 4 vMix collars, whatever. That's the... Was that the Skype input or whatever that is? Features: quickly add remote guests to any production via web browser and a webcam. Oh, okay, that's cool. Does that work really well? Multi-quarter. Do they mean multi-recorder? Yes, they do. 2 external outputs, 2 full screen outputs, 4 virtual outputs, scripting, PTZ control. I thought you got PTZ control. I guess I don't know what version I have. If you haven't already, be sure that you jump over to the Discord channel. It pops up here every now and then in the chat. But hit us up in Discord to join our unofficial, unsupported BirdDog user group. UU-Bug. That's what it's called. That's the only reason why I upgraded 4K 4 vMix collars. It's good because you have total control over it. Separate audio for each caller. You can choose video return feeds, audio return feeds. Okay. Bit rate of return, so on. It's kind of like WebRTC, except they're a bit cheaper. So, what's the deal with vMix? Do you have like unlimited updates, or do you only get like coverage for a couple years, or what's their pricing scheme like? I guess I could ask, right? Free version updates for 1 year from the date of purchase. Okay. It's WebRTC implementation. Yeah. For now, I have unlimited updates. Nice. That's an interesting pricing scheme. Basically, you're covered for a year, and then after that, you're on your own. I understand in terms of like longevity and keeping the product relevant, but also generating revenue. See why they wouldn't want to just continually let updates happen all the time. Well, cool. I mean, if I were to design a machine for a vMix production, I'm sure it would be just fine, right? Because I wouldn't have dual GPUs, I just have one powerful GPU. And then I wouldn't have these errors that I have. But anytime I go to test anything on this machine inside vMix, it like doesn't really work very well because the flashing thing seems to overload the computer CPU, and then I get inconsistent results. So it's a little bit of a challenge. Well, otherwise, you guys have been pretty quiet today. Listen to me ramble for 45 minutes, and now you're there's no questions. You guys don't have anything going on. We're using vMix on Boot Camp on Mac Pro 16-inch. It works flawlessly even if it's not an NVIDIA GPU. But it has limited performance because of it. Yeah. Wow. I'm always surprised when people are using Boot Camp. It doesn't work with... Well, I'll put it this way. We don't support it with Comms and Central and Multiviewer and all those programs. If you're using it on there and it works, great, but we certainly haven't tested it, and that is not an alley that I want to go down. Until we get some actual programmers who write Swift, we want to avoid the Mac conversation for now. It's better to create a native product from the ground up than to try and imprint a product. And then, like, troubleshooting it would be just a nightmare. There's no way. A rack PC, yeah. Yeah, that's what I went to. Because of the dual GPUs. I had a tower for a long time. And now I have a mini rack in my office because I've got switches, patch panels. I've got actually a Behringer X32 core. I've got a drawer for like tools and cables and everything. But then I've got a bunch of switches, a bunch of networking gear, power supplies, and then I've got a big giant rack-mounted server basically, which is my computer that got converted. Works a lot better with airflow and heat dissipation, and the dual GPUs have lots of room, which I really like. So unfortunately, when we move to an office in next year, we will likely be leaving this computer here at my house. So then it's going to turn into a VR computer. And I don't know what I'm going to do at the new office, so we'll see. The keyboard no longer works when cam control is enabled. The new cam control? Here's the keyboard. Oh look, it's already on. Let's just see if it works with the new protocol at all. It's one of those things I haven't even tested. And no, I don't look at the Facebook group very much. Let's just say there's a little bit going on in the help desk right now. Okay, so I have control of the camera on the keyboard, no problem. Cool, cool. Now, it's funny that those people who talk on Facebook don't just come here and talk to me. We're trying to be big and visible, right? But, where is the new cam control download? Is it on the? It might be on the website actually. Here we go. Let's uninstall previous cam control. BirdDog cam control. Uninstall. Giggity goo. Now, products, software, cam control. I'm curious. It's good. You should be. Did you try sometime to have 3+ BirdDogs on the network without flow control enabled on a switch? Does it work okay? I had a pretty big issue with flow control disabled And now it works, but from time to time I have one NDI input 1 frame behind randomly. And I have to test it if it's because the GPU and previous optimization, or it's because of the network. Beep chirp, what's going on? That is an interesting statement. Hang on, I gotta get over to get cam control installed here. There it is. Hoppity jippity. Run it. Installed. Let's see what we can do here with cam control. Should be 2.1 actually. All right, so if we search for the camera, there it is. Okay, I've got control on my keyboard. I've got control in cam control. So what specifically are they having problems with? Because Mini, what are they specifically having issues with? Because I have full control in both cam control and keyboard. No problems. New firmware, new beta, new cam control software. Up and running. How's it going, Beep Chirp? Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Okay, so did you try 3+ BirdDog Minis? Minis specifically? Can't say that I have. I've had multiple NDI sources on the same network, but not Minis. Are they encoding or decoding? That's the next question. What is the Switch brand? Preview optimization. That language is encoding. Okay. So previewing optimization is Ubiquity language. Is that what you're using? Oh, you know what? If Mini, that the keyboard no longer works as cam control. It definitely does. I'm using it right now. And that reminds me, now that the new cam control is out, it is going well, Deep Chirp. I started the show off thinking it was Thursday, and definitely have something weird going on with my back. I didn't sleep last night, but whoa, what's going on here? But anyways, yeah, we'll survive. Full. Gain limit, turn that down. Sharpness. Oh, it's definitely working. Flip is on. It shows that right away. That's good. Contrast, yep. IR sensor. Wow, that was fast. Holy cow. Jeez. Wow, that's really fast. Good on you guys. Wow. Oh my goodness, this is so like. So heavy. Oh. Just changed the gamma and then it didn't go back. Yep. Matrix is working. Stand, mid, offset. Brightness. Okay. Most everything. The only thing that didn't come back was the gain. Or was the gamma. So I changed the gamma on the cam control. And it didn't come back on the... I'll try it again. Make sure it's not just an anomaly. AV. Advanced. Oh, whoops, not advanced. Picture 2. It is set to 1. Now it's set to 0 in the web UI. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's interesting. It feels like... Whoops. Feels kind of like... With the web UI open, with cam control open, there. And then it doesn't... Okay, so that might be confirmed. From 0 to 1 works. Maybe I'll switch off this camera and see if it does it then. Gamma 1, gamma 0. No. Yoink. Wait, it just did it. Inside cam control. Oh, you know what? You know what? I wonder, because I have the keyboard attached. Yeah, Gamma's not responding correctly. Interesting. Alright, so just going through cam control. All that seems to be fine. Custom white balances. Indoor, yep. Outdoor, yep. One balance, white push. One push, white balance. Full manual, yep. That's all working here. Outdoor auto, yep. Looks good. Sweet. Yeah, this is a lot better. All right, cool. So the only thing that I have found so far in the new update is the virtual inputs in vMix don't seem to be addressed just yet, but I've sent that over to the guys so they are aware of it when they wake up. The other thing is the gamma control inside cam control. In my scenario, I have a keyboard and the web UI open, and when I change it on cam control, sometimes it changes, sometimes it doesn't. So we need to get that consistent where it's constantly recalling that specific setting. So I have not seen a single setting change though on its own like it used to. So if you want the beta, let me know. I can get it to you if you're not a part of the beta group and you want to give it a go. Remember not to put it in your production environment just yet, but feel free to ask me for it and I can send that over to you. Looks like there are people asking for that inside of my email, so I have to forward those to the help desk and go from there. Is this a real question, Beepcher? Haven't you been here for the past 2 weeks? There's 2 options. You can use what's loaded on there, which should be 3.1 or 3.3. That's fine. And or you can try the beta, which is being finalized this week for public consumption. But my recommendation is if you're putting it into production this week, use 3.1 or 3.3. That is probably the most stable and 3.1, everyone's on 3.1 that wanted to go back to it, so I would use 3.1 if I were you. Well, all right. We started 10 minutes late, and it is now 10 after 12. Oh, gosh. I was standing for the first half of the show. That was me, sorry. Standing for the first half of the show, and I don't know if that was helpful or not. But hopefully this little medical problem goes away in the next day or two, because, you know, they just magically disappear. Said no one ever. So we will see. But hopefully... you will see me on Thursday, because today is Tuesday. And if you missed the beginning of the show, you missed a unfortunate thing where I thought it was Thursday and not Tuesday. Anyway, it is Tuesday, and I'm pretty excited about this. We are rounding up the week here, trying to get to as many tickets as we can. Look, we know that there's a lot of folks that have submitted tickets that we haven't been able to get back to thoroughly and close. I have promised you I'm doing my best to get to everybody, but you can recycle the tagline, more NDI Chat. Come end the week with yeah, so I was definitely confused when I posted that, eh? Whoops, a daisy. Anyway, yeah, so there's lots of chatter in the help desk, and there are lots of folks that want some help. So we're trying to get some folks on board to give me some help with this, because there's a lot of new users who need assistance. And so that's what we're up to mostly. You know, the occasional product needs to be repaired or something like that. But outside of that, a lot of it's just typing. And I'm going to move to a system where I can dictate. I'm going to see if I can swing this as a business expense so that I can just talk through emails and get them onto, because yeah, it's not just a simple, like, 2-sentence explanation usually. So I tried using the Windows dictation thing, and that thing sucks. So not going to do that. I find that the Apple OS is pretty good. So I use my iPad Pro and go and find a comfortable chair and try and answer as many as I can, and then leave all of the ones that I need to, like, set up Zoom meetings and all that to leave that for later. So that's where I'm at, and that's how that's all happening. I need to check a couple of things here this morning, but then we should be in good shape for the remainder of the week for here's a response that I was waiting for. Yeah, okay. So we will we'll be back on Thursday. That's the plan. I will get my days straight here, and next time try and be more awake when I enter the show. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate you a lot. Thanks for the chatter, and we will do it again next time. Please join us over at the Discord channel, which is where we will continue talking about bird dog stuff, just in an unofficial manner. So feel free to reach out to us there. Beep Chirp is the admin on that group, and somehow I got roped into that. And so, yeah, we can take your questions, and can't guarantee I'll be on there constantly, but I'll pop in every now and then and see what's going on. So hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on Thursday of this week, where we will help end the week together in the NDI realm. Looking forward to the end of the new year, end of this year, and entering into the new year. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. I really appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Later.